All right, last thing that you gotta master here is the paperwork. There are all kinds of forms and contracts and things that you're gonna want, seller interview forms, property inspection forms, things like that. But the 3 contracts that make the deal go are number 1, the purchase agreements, because that's what you use to tie up the property. I will give you 2 pieces of advice about the purchase contract. Number 1, if you're not dealing in a deal where there's a realtor, don't use the board contract. It's too long, it's too complicated, and 3/4 of the language in it does not pertain to your deal if you are not an agent or there's not an agent involved in it. 3/4 of the wording in that contract is who gets to put a sign in the yard, and we're going to hold the agents harmless, and by the way, the agents have notified you that there is such thing as a home warranty, and just all this stuff that if you went through with a black marker and said, what has nothing to do with me or the seller, I crossed it all out, you'd end up with about 1-page text left. So when you're dealing correctly with a poor civilian seller who doesn't speak real estate or legalese, how about giving them a nice, simple, in English purchase contract that says, I will buy, you will sell, here's the price, you're going to get a clear title, and your one and only contingency clause, which is, I get to have as many inspections as I want at my expense, and if I don't like the results of them, I'm not buying the house. You don't need to also have a partner approval clause and financing approval clause. All those other things that just scream, I'm not closing this deal. I give myself so many ways out that if I just wake up on the wrong side of the bed that morning, I'm not closing this deal. The contract that I use when I'm dealing directly with the seller is 1 page long. Now I add to that agents, those of you who are licensed agents, I do add to that an agency disclosure form. It says I'm an agent, I'm working for the buyer, and that's me. And you are a representative. I have had sellers that have literally looked at that contract and then turned it over and looked at the blank backside. It's on a 8.5 by 11 page. They go, where's the rest of it? And I say, well, what do you want in there that's not in there? And they say, nothing. This is great. I can understand it. I can read it. Let's do it. Where many times their reaction when you hand them a really complex contract they don't understand is, well, the price looks right, but let me take it to my attorney. Right? Yeah, because they're scared of it. They're not taking it to the attorney because they don't trust you. They're taking it to the attorney because they don't understand what it says. And they don't want to, they're not going to feel stupid by saying, I don't understand what this says. The second piece of paperwork, and this is going to be different for some of you who've been trained elsewhere in an inferior way. It's called a purchase agreement for assignment. It outlines all of the details of your deal with your buyer. It says you are buying the contract dated January 28th, 2015 on the property known as 123 Easy Street for the total price of $6,900. And when you pay that $6,900, you will be assigned the contract. And you got your big boy pants on. You're not relying on any numbers I've given you. You know how to do the work. You've done your own inspections. You agree that you're not getting that money back just because you change your mind. You get the money back if the seller cannot or will not come to the table and sell, but you're not getting it back because you changed your mind. Because I did what I was supposed to do. I tied up the deal, and I gave you the rights to it. And if you decide later that you're not going to close, that's between you and the seller, not between you and me. So you better be sure. That's what the purchase agreement for assignment says. The actual assignment says, for valuable consideration, it's not named how much it is, for valuable consideration, Vena assigns her contract with Sam the seller on 123 Easy Street to build buyer. It's that simple. It's like one paragraph long. Now, why use 2 agreements for assignment instead of 1? Well, I noticed when this document has to go to the title company, right? The title company won't close the deal for your buyer without both the purchase contract and the assignment agreement. And I've noticed that when there's a dollar figure that says, you paid me $6,900 in the assignment, that the title company tends to want to put that on the closing statement even when it was paid outside of closing. This way, there's no number there. It just says, I'm assigning the contract, let's do it. Now here's the other thing. It's another one of those wholesaling myths. How many of you were raised to believe that wholesalers get paid at or after the closing? Okay, I know you mostly were. I get paid when I assign my contract. I don't get paid at the closing. Because what that's basically doing is saying, here, I'm going to give you the only thing I have that's got any value, because what's my product again? That contract. So I'm going to give you this contract for $1,000. For $1,000, I'm going to assign you this contract, and I now cannot stop you from going to the closing, right? And I'm going to trust you that after you close, you're going to give me the rest. Well, if somebody's trusting somebody, I want the buyer to be trusting me, not the other way around, right? So I get paid when I give them the thing that is of value, which is the assignment of contract. And the only time, again, that a buyer can get their money back is if the seller does not show up at the closing. Because I never ask for any money from a buyer until I can show them clear title. So we know the seller can sell, right? The question is he going to die before the closing, which actually happened to me once, sadly. But then his heirs sold us the property. It just took 6 months. So that is the way you need to run your business. Okay, I don't care how other people are running their business. This is how you run your business.